Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back. I have one more, or at least one last project process video of Halloween, and this one is my absolute favorite. So I love this punny title that I came up with. Um, it is an Elvis song that my grandson was Elvis for Halloween this past year. And so I had recently seen a layout on either Pinterest or Instagram. And it was a big circle, and they had done sewing around and around and around and around in this circle. And it made me think of a record. And so it was actually almost a full 12 by 12 circle. Um, I decided to make it look more like a smaller circle, and that's where I was going to put my title on. And so I did cut mine in black to make it look like an old vinyl record, and I did use a black thread. Before I started sewing, I did cut the circle in the middle that would typically have like the label on your vinyl record. And then I started from the inside and just did consecutive or just continuous sewing in circles until I got to the very outside of the circle there. So, and then I pulled out some white letters in two different sizes, and I had enough letters with the exception of one E. And so I did have to use an upside down 3 for one of my E's, but other than that, I had enough to put this whole title together. So it's a little less conversation, a little more candy, please. And since this was a Halloween picture and trick or treating, and so I love this layout and the punny title. So so I am matting my entire layout with a solid orange, and then this background paper is actually one of the old ones that I have from my stash. I believe it just says October 31, maybe, or just 31, 31, 31, maybe. I can't read it from here, but in the close-up shots, you should be able to tell what it is. And so I decided just to put that, use that as my background, and I am building from there. So here are my main pieces. This was actually another picture from the zoo where we took him trick-or-treating the Sunday before that he was, we weren't sure if he was actually going to be home on the night of Halloween or the night that we go trick-or-treating, and so we took him to this event, and it ended up being too cold to go trick-or-treating anyway, so we didn't, we just stayed at home and handed out candy instead of taking him out, because he didn't really understand the concept of it anyway, so... Then I just pulled out a few other scraps from my Halloween goodies here that pulled in some craft color and used that pumpkin foam sticker to kind of cover up the two pattern papers that I'm using there. That smaller one actually has some music notes on it. Thought it supported the music theme of Elvis and the title and the vinyl record, and went from there. So then I did add my journaling in this box here in the lower right corner. And so here now I'm just pulled out one of my leftover sticker sheets that are clear, and so I'm just pulling off some stickers from the Echo Park collection that came out this year. I only bought a few pieces of that collection as well, more supporting that I mostly had just leftover papers and scraps and not a lot of embellishments left from my old Halloween collections from when his mother was younger and I was scrapbooking. So really I'm just kind of adding some stickers around as supporting items, and oh, there I was decided to have a beer while I was crafting. the evening that I was working on this project. So, cheers to all of you if you also like to have any kind of beverages while you are crafting. So, here I decided to pull out the foam stickers, put some of the foam stars just to give a little variety to some of the items I'm adding on here. And so then I decided that I needed to add a little bit more, so I cut these two little sections at the top and the bottom. And I was really struggling because if you remember when I was putting the background onto the matting, I used tear tape, so I was having troubles getting the edges to come up. So that's why my little tear out places are pretty small. And but I made it work. And funny enough that when I got this layout done, I remembered that there was another technique that I wanted to do that I'd also seen on another project, and it was to like cut a slit in your paper and make it look like maybe like a werewolf had taken his claws across the page and then put pattern paper behind, and I totally forgot to do that. So I guess I'll have to wait and do that again for next year's Halloween layouts because this is wrapping up my Halloween 12 by 12. I will have a few extra companion pocket pages that go with all three of these Halloween layouts that you have seen over the past couple days. So check those out on Instagram and Pinterest. On that note, these layouts will also be on Instagram and Pinterest as well. So go find me, go check it out, and thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Bye.